President Obama heads into what has been hostile territory. He's speaking before the U.S. Chamber of Commerce later this morning. He's come under fire for not being business friendly. Well, today, he'll challenge business leaders to use their cash to start creating jobs. Here with more on just what the president needs to do and what he plans to is Christina Romer, the president's former chief economist. She's now a Bloomberg contributing editor and a professor again at Berkeley. Welcome to In Business, Professor Romer. It's good to speak with you.
It's good to be here.
It's been, to put it mildly, an uncomfortable relationship between the Chamber of Commerce, the business community, and President Obama. Has that really changed from your perspective?
You know, I think we've certainly seen a change in tone, and I think that's good. I think that's important. I do think that, something that I feel very strongly is that the president has always been very pro-business. From the earliest days of the administration, his focus was on getting the economy going again, and I don't know of any policy that's more pro-business than that. Or if you look at what he did in some of the early recovery actions, a lot of them were very much things the business community would like: tax incentives for investment, tax cuts. So that has certainly been a focus. But yes, we've definitely seen a change, I think, on both sides.
Oh, well, one of those criticisms involved not feeling like there was a seat at the table for the business community. You've been in the room for, endless number of economic consultations. What difference does it make to have Jeff Immelt in the position he now holds, or Bill Delly having JP Morgan on his resume? What does that actually inject into the conversation?
You know, I mean, of course, it's another perspective in the room. I think, something that everyone should know is that we were certainly always reaching out to business leaders. So even when there wasn't a business person in the room, were certainly ideas that we had heard, we had spoken with them. And so I actually think in terms of the decision making, it probably isn't going to matter that much. I think it's more, as I said, a sense of tone or atmosphere. But in terms of listening to business concerns and making sure that they were feeding into the policy process. Even former academics know how to pick up the phone and talk with them.
I can tell you don't like the characterization, which is fair. I want to ask you though about jobs in particular. Is it fair to the president to come to the Chamber of Commerce and say, use your cash to create jobs? I mean, arguably coming off of Friday's anemic jobs report, it shows a certain lack of confidence in the business community that they can add to payrolls in a substantial way. Is this simply a matter of psychology?
Well, I think the president is certainly challenging business. That we know they're sitting on a lot of cash to say now's the time to get your sea legs again and get out there and start hiring people. I think one of the things I think is important coming off that Friday employment report, the headline number was certainly pretty anemic. We only created 36,000 jobs. But in truth, I think it's more complicated than that. I think people think there was a pretty big weather effect because we'd had some big snowstorms during the survey week. So, I think what's coming out of that report is a number much more like what we've been seeing over the last several months, which is steady job growth, but not nearly strong enough. And the president, I think, does want to light a fire under business and say, get off the sidelines, get in there and start hiring people.
When you see job attrition at the local level for local governments and municipalities, that's another sort of data point for CEOs to worry about. How much concern should there be?
Oh, I think that's actually something very much to be concerned about. That even, we've seen this for again, probably at least the last year of as the private sector has been steadily coming back. What we've been seeing is that state and local governments have been cutting back on their employment, and that's a big headwind that we're having to face for our overall employment numbers. And that's something that does make local businesses concerned, because people that are unemployed obviously aren't buying local goods and services. And so that is something that is very important and been a big part of why a lot of the recovery actions were aimed at helping those state and local governments get through the recession until revenues pick up again, because we know that they are a drag on the rest of the economy when they have to be laying people off.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It sounds like resolving uncertainty is a a long-term struggle here. I appreciate your time this morning.